Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hat and Beard Show. I, of course, am your hostess with the mostest, Hat and Beard, where my pronouns are savage and I identify as sexy. You guys, we have had an exciting week 2 of the NFL. A couple games going to overtime, couple of big finishes, couple of upsets that we didn't quite expect. And this episode's going to be just as exciting. Hey, you guys, we got a little bit of breaking news first and foremost for you before we dive into the NFL scores from around the Week 2 NFL season, as well as this week's big winners and big losers, before finally wrapping it all up with my favorite segment, Hat and Beard Salted Nuts. So, you guys, before we get into it, please, if you haven't already, do me a huge favor. Go ahead and ring that notification bell, slap the like button, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Help us grow around here, you guys. We are sitting at 355 subs as I record this video. I really appreciate the growth over the past week, you guys. If we could try and get that number up to about 500 in the next few weeks, boy, I would just be tickled pink with that. So, you guys, let's get into some news. First and foremost, as a Lions fan, you guys, hey, it just broke tonight. Today, our defense took a huge blow. Not only was our entire team ravaged by injuries, with both Monty leaving the game early, Big V going out, it broke this morning that James Houston, our pass rush specialist, is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured ankle. But that's not the big news. No. The big news of the night, you guys, is that our big free agent acquisition, one of the heartbeats of our defense, one of the leaders out in the secondary, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, is going to miss the rest of the season with a torn pectoral muscle. And man, oh man, if that isn't a huge blow to Lions fans, you guys, that is going to put a huge strain on our already stressed secondary. Yeah, we got Emmanuel Mosley coming back, and that will be a huge boon for us. But man, you can't replace what CJ did out on the field. And yeah, Tracy Walker's a nice piece to have. He was a starter until last year when he went out with a season-ending injury early on in the season. It's starting to be a curse with us. But we need all the help we can get right now, you guys. I don't know if you watched the game much yesterday, but Jerry Jacobs got abused by Tyler Lockett over and over again. The Seahawks were targeting 2 players for us, and that'd be Derek Barnes and Jerry Jacobs. But we're not here to talk about that right now. We're here to talk about the injury to CJ. That's just going to be a huge, massive blow for us, you guys. Hopefully we have the players in place on the roster to help elevate everyone else around them and fill in where we can, because man, CJ just has so much potential this season going forward for us. He was going to be such a big part of our defense. And now you have to look to see, again, can Tracy Walker fill in? Can Brian Branch continue his ascension in the NFL and playing at the slot, maybe rotate him out to safety a little bit? Can Stephen Gilmore come in and maybe give us some good solid reps down at the slot spot? I really would like to see him get a crack at it. But we will see moving forward, you guys. Hey, thanks for sticking around for the news and notes. Let's get into the scores, you guys. Let's go ahead and take ourselves a little trip around the league. Go around the league with Hat and Beard.
Let's talk about buttered sausage. Talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does. Why is it doing what it's doing? Get it out of my face. What about buttered sausage?
All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's gonna go real quick and easy on this. We're not going to do any silly scripting. We're just going to read some scores off. Go back to Thursday night, the big Thursday night between the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. We've seen prime-time Kirk Cousins come out and play like prime-time Kirk Cousins. He's going to light up the scoreboard. He's going to put a lot of stats on the stat sheet for you, but he's going to come away short in the end. Eagles prevail 34-28. Next game, Baltimore Ravens, they went over to Cincinnati for a little AFC North divisional matchup, and the Cincinnati Bengals needed to bounce back, else they start the season 0-2 with their expensive new quarterback. Unfortunately, Joe Burrow did not hold up his end of the contract, did not cash in worth his $275 million deal, and the Ravens, led by Lamar Jackson, who's going to make another run at the NFL MVP, come out ahead 27-24. Next game up, we got our beloved Detroit Lions playing host to the Seattle Seahawks. Or as I called them in this game, the Seattle referees. That's right, you guys. I've never seen so much holding against Aiden Hutchinson in my life the past 2 weeks of the NFL season. I'm going to give you a little teaser about the Salted Nuts segment coming up. But the Seattle Seahawks, it took them to overtime, you guys. It took them through into overtime for Pete Carroll to come out and prove yet again that he is, in fact, MCDC's daddy and is 3-0 in his career against Motor City Dan Campbell, proving to be a thorn in our side for the third consecutive season, you guys. I snuck out a big W on the road against Detroit. I don't want to dive too much into this game, you guys. We'll talk more about it tomorrow when we talk all Lions on Wednesday. Next game, we got the Colts traveling down to Houston. Battle of two rookie quarterbacks. And AR-15, he got knocked out early. He's in concussion protocol after scoring a big rushing touchdown, but C.J. Stroud threw a couple of TDs in this game. Proved to not be enough, though, as Gardner Minshew came in and was the wily veteran managing the team and steering the ship to victory. Colts prevail 31-20. The next game up, we got the Chicago Bears traveling down south to square off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Baker Mayfield. Everyone thought that Baker Mayfield was going to be left for dead and was a joke. He's actually been proven to be quite the able quarterback this season through 2 games. And Justin Fields plays like absolute dog crap. The Chicago Bears are a rudderless ship out in a 18-week season. They have fallen to 0-2 when they came up short against the Buccaneers 27-17 this past Sunday. Justin Fields. Man, I don't know how to feel about Justin Fields. Chicago Bears fans, why don't you guys go ahead and lay me in on the comments there. Let me know what you guys think about Justin Fields. Are you guys sold on him? Because, man, if I was a Chicago Bears fan, I would not be happy with the product that I see out of Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense. 17 points is not going to cut it in the NFL. You guys have been underwhelming, to say the least, especially with all the money you guys shelled out in your defense and free agency, as well as bringing in DJ Moore. He was supposed to really elevate you guys, and that has been absolutely not the answer. Next game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs going to Duval to square off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I actually thought the Jags were going to be a sneaky little upset play right here. I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be a league MVP candidate, and the Jacksonville Jaguars abandoned the run early on and were one-dimensional, and unfortunately 9 points isn't going to be enough to beat the Chiefs, even when the Chiefs are putting up 17 points and have really no offensive weapons outside of Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce came up big with a touchdown in this, and Patty Mahomes continues to do Patty Mahomes things despite being more or less a one-man operation in Kansas City. The Kansas City Chiefs go ahead and take it to the Jacksonville Jaguars, 17-9. What a riveting score. Next game up, the Green Bay Packers went to Atlanta to fight off against the Atlanta Falcons, led by Desmond Ridder, and a lot of hype around the Packers last week after Jordan Love came out and looked Aaron Rodgers-esque as if he was going to be the next coming of, and the Packers fell into yet another quarterback situation where they are just going to continue to ascend and ascend and ascend. Unfortunately, the Atlanta Falcons, well, they decided to make Jordan Love look human in a rather pedestrian outing, and Desmond Ridder goes ahead and wins the game, taking the Atlanta Falcons to a big W at home, sneaking it out. We're going to take the Falcons, going to win that one 25-24. You got to love it. You got to love to see that on the same week that the Lions lost, everyone else in the NFC North lost as well. That does bode well for us, so a little silver lining there, folks. Next game. The Oakland Raiders are going to travel up to the Buffalo Bills, and yeah, we're going to go ahead and buy into the West Coast narrative here, traveling through time zones, because the Raiders, outside of Devontae Adams until he got knocked out of the game, they looked awful. They looked absolutely awful. Josh Jacobs had, -2 yards on the whole game. That's a terrible performance in your rushing game. The Raiders, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. Maybe we look elsewhere from Jimmy G, because he has not been very good. And again, Devontae Adams now in concussion protocol, could miss a little bit of time, and that's going to make the Raiders offense even worse. Even worse. They can't just turn around and hand the ball off to Josh Jacobs, because he effectively got nowhere against the Bills defense. The Bills, Josh Allen had himself a day, and the Bills going to walk away with this one 38-10. Man, what a beatdown. Next game, Chargers traveled to Tennessee, and everyone thought the Chargers were just going to light up the Titans. Even myself, I didn't think Tennessee had much of a chance. But hey, any given Sunday, especially when your head coach is Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel, one of the better coaches in the league. I actually have a big thing for Mike Vrabel. I like the former players turned coaches. I especially like former defensive players turned coaches. Why I'm a big Mike Vrabel fan. I'm also a big D'Amico Ryans fan. But hey, Tennessee did just enough to dampen the onslaught that could have been the Chargers offense. And Tennessee's going to get sneaky with it and pull off a 27-24 upset at home over the Chargers. You got to love to see it. Go Titans. Derek Yeti's just getting warmed up. Next game, we got the San Francisco 49ers squaring off against the LA Rams, and it was going to be a pretty good game. It was squaring off right down to the fourth quarter, but Matt Stafford trying to do his best Jared Goff impression and throw a costly late game interception that was going to catapult the 49ers to a big W. Brock Purdy remains undefeated on the season, going to 2-0. The Rams fall to the 49ers 30-28. Next game, the G-Men Big Blue rolled out to Phoenix to square off with the Arizona Cardinals. The Joshua Dobbs-led Arizona Cardinals, and it actually looked like the Giants were going to have a repeat performance from last week. At one point, they were down 16-0 to the Cardinals, but managed to right it around and come back even with Squan tweaking his ankle. He's going to be out for some time. Saquon Barkley re-injured his ankle again. He's been having some issues over the past couple years with that ankle. But the G-Men and Daniel Jones are going to come out and take a big, sneaky win on the road, roaring back from a 16-point deficit to win 31-28. Next game, the Jets and the Cowboys. Zach Wilson and his redemption arc. Can Zach Wilson replace Aaron Rodgers? Can Zach Wilson come out and show the growth potential that he's had? Can he come out and use all of the offensive weapons that he's got available to him? Can he throw the ball to Garrett Wilson? Can he turn around and hand the ball off to Breece Hall? Will the Jets defense be enough to slow down the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas? No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. That didn't. Micah Parsons basically owned Zach Wilson and basically stooped his mother all night long, and just was in his face. And Zach Wilson, fourth quarter, throwing 3 interceptions is not going to win you the game. The Cowboys walk away from this one easily, 30-10. Next game, the Washington Commies went out to Denver to square off against the Denver Broncos, and that was a goofy one. And what else could you expect from those two teams? The Commies are goofy. The Broncos are goofy, and we had a goofy finish to that. Real goofy finish coming down to a 2-point conversion attempt that, if I'm being honest, should have had pass interference called on it, and we'll talk about that later. But the Commanders are going to win 35-33, and a little bit of a road upset. Sam Howell moves to 2-0. Good look on the Washington Commies hanging in the NFC East with the big dogs. Wow, that's impressive. The Sunday night game, we had the Miami Dolphins and New England Patriots up in Foxborough. Could the Patriots defense slow down the high-octane, high-flying Miami Dolphins offense with all of their weapons? And unfortunately, when you stop one, another weapon emerges. Although they tampered Tyreek Hill's production and totally blew up my parlays on the night, Jalen Waddle was able to emerge. And when Jalen Waddle got hurt, he said, hey, don't you worry about it. We're going to go ahead and give the ball to Colonel Mustard, Raheem Mostert, who still has it in him, sealing the game with a late-game run to go ahead and take the Dolphins to 2-0 on this year, beating their interdivisional opponent, the New England Patriots, at home in Foxborough. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. And Monday night we had a doubleheader, which until we get through the bye week, we're going to have a little bit of busyness on the schedule. So we had a doubleheader Monday night. We had the Saints and the Panthers fighting it out. NFC South game. What did you expect? The Saints nudged out the Panthers 20-17. I didn't get to watch any of this game, you guys, because I had to work. But hey, good to see the Saints win. I kind of thought they'd go a little bit harder, maybe pull off a few more points. But you know what? A W is a W, and especially against a divisional opponent. Good on Derek Carr. I am a big Derek Carr fan, you guys. You got to roll out the car. Let's go. And the late game. All right, there it is. There you go. The Browns and the Steelers. AFC North matchup, and Cleveland loses. There you go. Somehow, the Pittsburgh Steelers looked, I don't know if they looked better or not. I didn't get to watch it, but based on the box score, the Steelers put out a much better performance than they did week 1 against the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to win this one at home 26-22. That's going to do it for our week 2 around the league with Hat and Beard. All right, guys, moving right along. We got to keep this show just chugging right down the rails. I'm trying to save you time, save me time, save everybody time. So if you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe. Do all the things for me. Comment down below what was your favorite moment of the week. Get that engagement up for me. I'd really appreciate that, you guys. On to the next segment. We got winners and losers from week 2, you guys. I picked out 2 winners and 2 losers. Let's get into the losers first. Let's start out down at the bottom of the barrel, you guys. I got a couple of quarterbacks coming in for this week's big losers. Number 1, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, with his opportunity to come out and prove all the haters wrong, to come out and show that they did not need to go out and sign Aaron Rodgers, that Zach Wilson was going to live up to his number 2 overall selection in the 2021 draft. Either way, he was the number 2 overall pick a couple years ago by the New York Jets. And he is who we thought he was. Zach Wilson came out and played like hot garbage. Garbage. He was exactly who we thought he was. Looking frightened, terrified, and scared. Could not commit, could not decide, could not pull the trigger when he needed to. And when it mattered most, when you had an opportunity to make the game competitive, when you had an opportunity in the fourth quarter to make the game competitive, what did you do? That's right, you turned the ball over 3 times in the fourth quarter. That's not going to cut it. Zach Wilson is our first big loser of the week. Zach Wilson, round of applause. This week's week 2 NFL big loser number 1. The other big loser, we're going to keep it in the same position group. We're going to go ahead over to Chicago and look at Justin Fields. Justin Fields has been absolutely atrocious this whole season. This last game just looked absolutely dismal. Didn't seem to know what he was doing the past 2 weeks. And Justin Fields perpetually looks confused out on the field as if he doesn't know what he's doing or where any of his players are supposed to be. There's little to no chemistry with the entire offense. And again, if I was a Chicago fan, I would be furious with the amount of money that we paid in free agencies this year. This week's big winners, man. Same position group, you guys. Same position group. I have got to shout out a couple of quarterbacks this week, you guys. This week's big winners are going to be the Atlanta quarterback, Desmond Ridder. That's right. Desmond Ridder is one of our big winners. And the other one is Washington Commies quarterback, Sam Howell. Why did I pick these 2 guys? Well, for one, both of these 2 quarterbacks were left for dead afterthoughts in the NFL, not starting quarterback caliber. Both teams needed to address the quarterback position in the offseason or via the draft. Both teams decided to go with their young quarterback prospects. And so far, it's been pretty good. Desmond Ridder looks really solid on the season. He has some pretty good weapons to throw to. However, I want to talk about Sam Howell. Sam Howell was a joke when he was drafted. Sam Howell got hurt, missed all of his rookie year. Sam Howell was left for dead, an afterthought at best, and all he's been able to do in his first 2 legit starts as a quarterback in the NFL under the Washington Commies is go 2-0 and be hanging in there in the NFC East. So I got to give it to Sam Howell. Neither one of these guys had a really beautiful performance this week, but it was enough to win. You never remember the wins, but you remember all the losses. And right now, can't have any complaints with either one of these 2 guys' performance in week 2. So, big losers, Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. Big winners, Desmond Ridder and Sam Howell. So this is going to bring us to our final segment of the episode. If you haven't already, like, share, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Get these numbers up from 355 to 500. Let's go, go, go. Let's get into some Hat and Beard salted nuts. So, what's bugging me this week? Well, you guys, this week I had to sit there and watch the Detroit Lions as well as a couple other teams just look bad. A lot of teams look bad through week 2 in the NFL. A lot of turnovers, a lot of miscues, a lot of timing issues, a lot of chemistry that still needs to be built. All in all, just a bad product. And it's not just the players, it's not just the coaching. It's the officiating. Now, what do I mean? I have never seen, through 2 weeks of the NFL, a more blatant attempt by the officiating crew or the NFL, or a combination of the two, to nerf a single player. Who do I mean by that? Well, in the opening night of the NFL season, last Thursday night, we got to watch as Juwan Taylor regularly lined up in the backfield and consistently jumped off sides in an attempt to slow down Aiden Hutchinson. And luckily, it was successful. He got no sacks. Week 2, I got to watch Aiden Hutchinson get held all game long. Most importantly, I watched Aiden Hutchinson get bear hugged, wrapped up, spun around, and damn near pulled to the ground on the game-winning touchdown play. I know holding happens on every play. I get that. But in these big moments, in the most important moments, in the most, up to this point, important game of the year for both teams, you missed the biggest call. You missed it. Plain and simple. The Commanders, that was a awful pass interference that didn't get called on the 2-point conversion to Sutton. That was just terrible. That was just a bad no call. We see players making a lot of bad plays, missed tackles, refs missing calls. Things are just bad. Injuries are popping up left and right. Things are just bad product. And I know that the preseason is a big issue for everybody. It's a big issue. You see players get hurt. You don't want to see players get hurt in the preseason. You don't. You want to see guys have an opportunity to earn a roster spot. Big proponent for that. You guys know me. I'm a big proponent. I love to see young players scrap it out, earn a spot on a roster. I love to see it. But unfortunately, when you're giving all these opportunities to young players, when you're too scared to let your starters touch the field, you have a huge fall off in their development into the regular season. I'm tired of having to wait till week 3, week 4, week 5, God forbid, week 6 to finally see teams performing at their top line performance, right? I'm so sick and tired of having to wait for it. Y'all are professional athletes, okay? Professional. And not just professional. The NFL is the top brand. Name me one other brand in U.S. sports that's more beneficial, more profitable than the NFL. Yeah, I'll wait. Women's basketball? You gonna say soccer? The only thing that could probably compete is maybe NASCAR, right? The NFL product is not good the first couple of weeks out of the year. It doesn't really start to heat up until mid-season, and then to come the playoffs, half the team come the playoff hunt, half the teams have already given up. Some teams are tanking, but the teams that are making the playoffs, you see why they're so good, because they're finally clicking and firing on all cylinders. I want a better product. I want a better product week 1. I want a better product week 2, week 3. I don't want to have to wait until week 4, week 5, week 6 to have the product that I should be expecting year in and year out. I shouldn't have to wait this long. It's absolutely ridiculous. Joe Burrow is making, $275 million over his contract? That's multi-generational wealth that he alone is being paid to play, yes, the hardest position of sports. Yes, the most important position in all of sports. He should be performing as such. His performance should be directly reflected in the compensation that they're giving him. This performance the last 2 weeks out of Joe Burrow should be infuriating to not only Cincinnati Bengals fans, but NFL fans. This is poor. This is bad. This is terrible. Officiating's bad. Player performance is bad. Player execution is bad. All of it is just bad, sloppy play. And now you're seeing bad, sloppy play. Players not necessarily ready for game speed, starting to clip them on injuries. You're starting to see little things happen. Monty tearing up his knee. Halapulutavati Vaitai blowing out his back or his knee or whatever the hell it was. Even CJGJ, I don't know when or where he tore his pectoral, but these are all things that could theoretically have been prevented had you gotten your starters game speed reps, even a series every game in the preseason. Jared Goff's pass that got intercepted, that was thrown behind. That was a timing issue with Jahmyr Gibbs. There's all of these things. Philadelphia is only winning because they have that stupid Philly push play, that stupid goal line push play that I think should be outlawed in the NFL. That is a stupid play. I get it. You better figure out how to defend it. There's no way to defend it. And furthermore, if the league is hell-bent on player safety and protecting your assets like Jalen Hurts, a potential face of the NFL, a very wealthy man, and a huge investment for the team, why are you having them smash between multiple tons of human flesh? Why are you letting that happen? Right? You can't say player safety, but also let your players get absolutely obliterated down on the goal line like that. That seems a bit hypocritical. Seems a bit talking out of two sides of your face. All of this is just summed up into one thing. One statement. I need a better product. Give me a better product. I want a top-line product week 1. Do better. We need to stop expecting and accepting subpar products. And not just in the NFL, in our entertainment, in our video games. How many of you play games, you pay full price for a game, and you know that the developers are automatically selling you a broken, partially finished product and are expecting DLC patches day 1? That is ridiculous. We need to stop accepting and expecting subpar performance out of the products that we give our money to, and we need to start holding them accountable. We need to make our voices known. We need to tell them this is unacceptable, okay? I will not accept a subpar performance. I will not accept subpar product. It needs to be better. It needs to be better, and everybody wins. The fans win, the players win, the NFL wins, everybody makes money. It's a win-win-win-win-win situation, you guys. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, you guys. I hope all of that made sense. That was Hat and Beard Salted Nuts, and this is going to do it for the end of the episode. Thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. I hope you liked it. If not, well, I guess I'm not your cup of tea. But have a good rest of your day, you guys. Stay out of trouble. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And frig off.